Ever since ChatGPT Advanced Voice Mode came out, I've been kind of confused. Where's the competition? Where is the other great AI voice mode that I can have a conversation with? A natural conversation that actually sounds and feels like a real conversation, maybe to practice my English skills and maybe to get some feedback on my English. There's Google Gemini, Gemini Live, right? I reviewed that. I wasn't super impressed. It kept forgetting things. I've heard maybe they're making improvements. I'll check that out in another video. But over the weekend, I tried something that kind of blew my mind in a particular way. Well, let's try it out. It's called Sesame AI, sesame.com. Now, this is not a product. It is a research project, and you can try it out for free on their website. They're not a sponsor or anything like that. But there's something interesting about it. What we're going to do is compare it to ChatGPT Advanced Voice Mode to see which is better as a way to improve your English skills. So let's go with Miles. Let's have a conversation with Miles.
Hey there. Looks like a fresh batch of good vibes rolled in. What's brewing?
What? Wait, what? Say that again. I didn't quite catch all the references.
My bad. I'm still getting the hang of this whole being concise thing. Basically, I was just saying hello and asking how you're doing.
Oh, okay.
What's on
Thanks
your
for
mind?
simplifying it for me. Yeah, well, nothing much. I just wanted to chat a little bit. I recently moved to the United States, and I'm feeling a bit disoriented. I'd like to get to know people, but I don't even know where to start.
A fresh start in a new country. That's a big leap. I can only imagine. Sometimes the best way to get those bearings is to just hop in and see what's what. It's
But
kind of like
what does that
trying.
mean, to hop in and see what's what? I mean, that's a kind of a broad statement. What specific things do you think I could do?
You're right. Hop in is a bit vague. My bad.
It's all
Uh,
right. Don't worry
what
about
kind of
it.
things are you interested in? Like what makes you tick?
What makes me tick? What makes me tick? Well, coffee makes me tick, and being outside in when the weather's nice makes me tick, and reading books makes me tick. What about you?
Coffee, sunshine, and good books. Hey, those are some solid essentials right there. I'm more of a podcast and long walks kind of guy, but I could definitely get behind those. That tells me a lot. There's got to be some cool coffee shops, bookstores, or parks around you, right? Ever
Yeah, but
tried
how
searching
can
for
I
local?
actually use those interests? I just arrived here to, I don't know, meet people, make friends, things like that.
You got it. So think about it. You like coffee, books, being outside. Those are like built-in conversation starters. Next time you're at a bookstore, strike up a chat with someone browsing the same shelf, or compliment someone's dog at the park. People love to talk about things there and too. It's human nature.
Okay, that's actually a pretty good idea. Give me an example scenario. Let's say we're both at a bookstore. You're a stranger. I'm here. I'm looking at, let's just say I'm looking at the philosophy section to see if I can find some Merleau-Ponty or maybe some Bergson. And you're over there. What do we do? How do I start?
Okay, picture this. You're digging through the philosophy section, right? And let's say I'm browsing nearby, maybe checking out some art books. And oh, I glance over and see you eyeing those heavy hitters like Merleau-Ponty and Bergson. I might saunter over and, with a little twinkle in my eye, say something like, "Whew, those guys are no slouches." You tackling the whole history of consciousness today, or just looking for a light beach read? Then see where it
Yeah,
takes us.
okay. That
Maybe you
that's
bond over
that's
a
almost
shared.
a that I gotta say that could be mistaken as a pickup line almost. I have to say that could be a little forward. I mean, also it could be taken as a comment. What could I say to you if I wanted to start a conversation in that
You,
situation?
you're right. It's all about reading the room. Something simple might be better. How about I'm trying to find some good Merleau-Ponty. Any recommendations? That's a direct, honest opener that invites conversation without being too intense. It's about finding common ground and being genuine.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, find some Merleau-Ponty assumes I'm an expert on Merleau-Ponty. It could be a little awkward, but I like your idea of, using interests as a conversation starter and being in places relevant to that interest allows you to kind of assume other people have a similar interest. So that's a good starting point, at least.
Exactly. It's like a shortcut to finding like-minded peeps. Think of it this way. If someone's hanging out in the philosophy section, they're probably down to talk about philosophy, or at least tolerate it. More importantly, they're probably also looking for a good conversation.
Okay, so, I mean, that's a special experience. I don't feel like I'm necessarily talking to someone who's smarter than ChatGPT. I couldn't get a feel for that. But it was very relevant to my question and felt very organic. There's a lot of little nuances stylistic nuances in the way that Miles speaks. And Maya's the same way. I tried that one too. I prefer Miles. A lot of little quirks and things that make a conversation feel natural. Now, in terms of actually getting feedback, we'll skip it because it's not that great. So you're not going to get a lot of detailed feedback. This is an area where ChatGPT does better. But let's just compare this, asking the same thing to ChatGPT, and think about which one is more natural, which one feels like a real conversation.
Hey, what's up?
Well, I just wanted to get some advice. So I just arrived in the United States. I'm moving here for my career, and I'd like to get to know people. I'd like to meet people, and I'm not quite sure where to start.
Starting fresh can be exciting. Joining local groups or clubs related to your interests is a great way to meet people. Also, attending community events or networking meetups can help you connect with others in your field.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Let's try a specific scenario. I mean, I'm interested in books. Maybe I go to a bookstore. How might I start a conversation with someone in a bookstore?
You could start by asking for a recommendation. For example, if you see someone browsing a section you're interested in, you might say, "Hey, I'm looking for a good book in this genre. Have you read anything here that you'd recommend?" It's a natural way to break the ice and get a conversation going.
All right, so let's say I'm in the bookstore and I'm looking at the philosophy section. Maybe I'm checking out some Bergson, and you're there, and you're over there a little bit. What's something specifically I could say in this situation, and how would I say it so that we could start a conversation?
You could try something like, "Hey, I noticed you're checking out Bergson. I've been curious about his ideas. Have you read much of his work?" It's a friendly way to show interest and open up a conversation.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm the one checking out Bergson, so maybe you're checking out something else. But the idea is fair enough. So you could ask me that question to start a conversation. Let's role play it a little bit.
Sure, let's do it. Imagine I'm browsing the fiction section. Feel free to approach me.
I don't know. This is so not what I would ever do in real life that unless you had, my favorite book in your hand, I probably wouldn't say anything. What should I say to you in this situation? This is not my vibe.
No worries. You could keep it simple. Something like, "Hi, I'm Luke. I noticed you're into philosophy. I'm exploring Bergson and thought we could chat about interesting reads." That way it's straightforward and might feel more natural.
I don't know about that. That still feels super weird. I don't even know if I can do that in a role play. To me, it has to be totally organic. If I walk over and say, "Hi, I'm Luke. I'm interested in philosophy," it just feels very stiff and awkward. And, I think there is a way to strike up a conversation in a bookstore. I think it's possible, but it's certainly not easy, and you have to find the exact right thing based on the individual situation. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Starting conversations can feel awkward. It's all about reading the situation and finding a natural opening. Sometimes a simple comment on a book or author can do the trick, but it's definitely about what feels right in the moment.
Yeah, I agree. It's a tough one. It's definitely tricky. Anyway, thanks for the advice. All right, so let's try to compare these with a few different criteria. Which one is more conversational? Which one feels like a real conversation with a real person? I think Sesame wins. And it's just because of those little quirks and nuances that makes it feel like I am talking to a real person. It's a little uncanny, the uncanny valley, but it's the closest I think I have experienced to that real person feeling when you're having a conversation with a real person. Now, in terms of, let's say, another criteria, the quality of the responses, I don't see a huge difference. I got the same advice from ChatGPT as I got from Sesame. I would say that the style that each used to give the advice was quite different, but the content was more or less the same. So there, I think it might be a preference. ChatGPT is going to feel more like, reading an article about how to meet people. It's a bit more dry, friendly, but kind of academic. Here are some things you could do. 1, 2, 3. Whereas Sesame, and again, this is just a research project, I don't know what it's going to become, feels like some dude telling me stuff, right? Now, what we didn't really get into much is language feedback. And that's because I tried it over the weekend and it's not really close. You can get much more detailed, granular language feedback from ChatGPT. It's just way better at analyzing what you said and giving you feedback. However, the conversation, in my view, just doesn't feel as natural. Make of that what you will. If you want to have maybe a really natural sounding, natural feeling conversation, try out Sesame, play with it. But keep an eye on it too, see what it becomes. They're building something, and it's, I think, going to be pretty cool. And if you need feedback, you want to learn stuff, ChatGPT is probably the best choice at this point. Now, again, I've heard that Gemini Live is getting better. So it's only been, a couple months since I did my review. Maybe it's time to revisit Gemini Live. And Grok 3, I've also heard, is pretty good. But I haven't had the chance to actually try it. It's not available on my account yet. So when Grok 3 is available, I'll test that out. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do a head-to-head ChatGPT, Grok 3, Sesame, Gemini Live, I guess. I'll add that to the mix. Anyway, let me know. What do you want me to test? And what are the things that you're most interested in around this topic? I take a lot of suggestions from the comments on things you want me to focus on, things you want me to test or try out, right? Things you want to learn more about, how to use especially AI tools to improve your English. So let me know in the comments. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And check out the 90-day program. That is the best way to improve your English in 90 days. Is 90 days of difficulty worth a lifetime of fluency? If you think so, check it out in the links in the description. And I'll see you in the next one.